I thought I'd better actually upgrade to the one that works a lot better than mine with. It's a lovely, simple mechanical system. It's very you, isn't it, in its design concept?
Simple.
Yeah. I didn't mean it that way. For those who don't realise, it's actually Ben's birthday today, so we're going to rush through this and go and have a cup of tea in a minute. What does it say? It's weird being the same age as old people. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. You can probably guess by the echo and where I am. I'm back at Flylight at Sywell Aerodrome. Ben's grinning at me just off camera at the minute. And the reason I'm back here again is I accidentally left my machine here. I say accidentally, I left it here for Ben to have a look at. And spookily, there's some additional bits that have kind of miraculously appeared onto the machine. Now, the Peabee has come a long way since, what was it, 2016 we said?
Yes.
Yeah, 2016 that the Peabee came into conception with the sub 70, the UK sub 70 exemption. And for me, it's transformed my flying. But the Peabee has come a long way since that first iteration. So I'm going to bring in Ben now to talk through some of the big changes that have happened. So the Peabee you're not making the Peabee as such anymore now. You're going to be making the Peabee.
The Peabee2.
Yeah. So why did you suddenly make a Peabee2?
Imaginative name we've ever given one of our aircraft. Yeah. But it's because it's gone through so many evolutionary steps, we might as well actually call it a different name to the predecessors. So. Yeah.
So I've actually asked Ben to put the hand throttle. Although those that have been watching the channel for a long time know I did make my own hand throttle, I thought I'd better actually upgrade to the one that works a lot better than mine with. It's a lovely, simple mechanical system. It's very you, isn't it, in its design concept?
Simple.
Yeah. I didn't mean it that way. For those who don't realise, it's actually Ben's birthday today, so we're going to rush through this and go and have a cup of tea in a minute. What does it say? It's weird being the same age as old people. It's Ben, isn't it? It's Ben. So the original Peabee never actually had a front screen, did it?
No.
So we've got a front screen now with a pod, and you've made a new pod as well for the front screen.
Well, we haven't. We've the pod that actually came with the front screen. It's always been, ever since we introduced the windscreen, always had a fabric underside to it. Then at an early stage in that development, we put a dashboard on top of it, and we've quite simply now made the dashboard seal tightly to the fabric underside so that you can safely stow things like wallets, pens.
And they don't disappear into the ether when you go flying.
Exactly. So maps, gloves.
Yeah.
And also vanity cases, whatever you want.
Whatever Ben wants to put in there, I'm definitely not putting a vanity case in mine. So, other changes. I had a new, I've had it a while, those that have been following the channel will have noticed, but you've upgraded the reserve case, and you also have the headbox option as well, which didn't exist. The rear fairing never actually existed on the early ones, did it?
No, well, most of the bits that you see have come via suggestions from customers. Their wants and so forth. The rear fairing came in from a chap called John Edge, who's
Ridge Hog. Shout out to Ridge Hog. Yep.
A very keen sub-70 pilot, and he wanted some way of tailoring in the fairing on his Peabee that he had. So we sort of came up with the just an enclosure for the rear of the fairing to cover up the fuel tank.
Yeah. So then I bleated at you about a hand throttle, didn't I? And then you came up with a hand throttle. So let's have a quick close-up at this lovely hand throttle here. It's very, very simple. There's no third cable. It's all done through this one system. So the foot throttle and the hand throttle all work through this one system. So it's absolutely lovely. And it still allows the whole fairing to come off in one piece, doesn't it?
Yes.
And so why did you come up with this idea? I love it. I love the lines of it, and I love the fact that sounds very, very arty-farty, doesn't it? But why did you come up with this? Because it just looks right. it just looks right. There's no other way of describing it.
One of our new customers, a chap called Kevin Walker, thank you, Kevin, for asked if we could do a fairing for the undercarriage legs. And I'd been toying with the idea that we could possibly do something as simple as this. And it wasn't until the customer actually pushed me to producing it. Now we've produced it, unfortunately, for me, everybody who has a Peabee wants these fairings, and certainly all the new customers want the additional fairings.
Yeah.
A lot of them wanting me to gift the fairings over on if they make a purchase. So thank you, Kevin. You've cost me a lot of money.
Always a good way. But it's good that Ben actually listens to suggestions, because I say we had lots of discussions about the hand throttle, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, if anybody has any ideas or so forth, any feedback, just to let me know. It, you know, and we will always credit anybody who sort of gives the idea over. It's a group thing, really. The whole, it's like a not crowdfunding, but the whole input is crowd based.
Yeah.
To obviously, the more people that want the things, the more demand there is for it.
Yeah. And there's the one bit I do like, and I did enjoy flying the Adam, but I'd also like the aesthetics of it. Now, aerodynamically, this does actually add some benefit, doesn't it, in terms of control? I've been learning from my recent subjects. But you haven't just made a fin, have you? You haven't just stuck a fin on the back of it. It's quite ingenious, isn't it? I can see him grinning already, because I know what's inside this. I know what's inside this now. So go on.
Initially, we did make it as an aesthetic fairing. I'm putting a triangular fairing on the rear of a box section. It's going to smooth the airflow or reattach the airflow a little bit better, but it's still going to be fairly turbulent flow around it because of the sharp frontal edges on the box section. However, it does provide...
Well, you had a good chat with Mark Hilton about this, didn't you?
Yeah. We sort of looked at the fact that there is a stowage area there. So if you bring the camera around, Charles, we will do... And inside there...
You've put some poles inside.
Are the wingfold kits. And we'll try and take...
Because I know Mark was talking about this, wasn't he? He was talking about it, and then you kind of... I think you both came up with the idea at the same time, almost, I believe.
We did. It was purely my idea, nothing to do with Mark Hilton. Sorry, Mark.
I'll let you argue that one later.
But no, I think... It was an idea that we were looking at, and Mark as well independently came up with the idea. So
he was going to do his in carbon, wasn't he?
He is going to do his in carbon. So from Micro Maintenance, you'll be able to buy the carbon version. Because we're old tech, you buy it in aluminium tubes. As you can see, they detach, they're baggage, they're not part of the aircraft, so they are not considered within the weight of sub 70.
The reason I like this, and this is where we'd actually been chatting as well, is because I wanted to go camping with my Peabee, and to store your wing overnight is quite hard if you can't take the struts with you.
Exactly.
And the normal wing fold kit, which is for long term, you know, in the hangar, etc., just you couldn't put it anywhere, could you?
No.
So this is where this has been a genius idea.
The poles were, we did break the poles in half. You could have strapped the poles to uprights and so forth, but they would look fairly ugly. So we wanted something that was aesthetically pleasing, and also very, very practical. And having the old temp pole system, it's a bit hard for me to do this with.
I hold that one for you.
You hold that one. So drop them out of the way. He will do this. There we go. So that's basically the principle, and then you build your pole, which there we go, and there you have it. So the wing strut.
Nice. And then they both go back inside and get zipped up and tied up. So
yep, and they take next to no space up in the back there.
is that where it cracks you in the knee at the same time?
No, they are quite light.
It's always expensive coming to Flylight because I've now got to buy a set of these. So Ben, don't bother taking them out. I'll just add it to my bill.
Right. Yeah. Well, you heard that as a nation. You heard it. So the invoice is being written.
I think that's my inbox going ping now with the invoice. So. But hopefully that's given you a bit of a flavour of the differences between the Peabee1. The Peabee1, back in 2016, as I said, there's been lots of changes, and as Ben's given credit to all those that have given him ideas, I say it's the joy of the aviation community, isn't it, that people feed back to you and go, have you thought about this? And then you take it and then make it very Ben Ashman, very aesthetically pleasing, etc. And this is one thing that I love about my aircraft is it's never really stood still, has it, since I bought it from you. It's always had something improved on it.
But it's also true for all the PBs that are out there. Essentially, the basic frame has stayed the same. Everything that we have done, we have tried to keep it so that it's retrofittable. In fact, it is true to say it is retrofittable on the whole range of PBs that have come out. Obviously, it's different for the Adam because of the retracts and so forth. But yeah, the PB is evolving and the additions are all very easy to add. And they are, I would like to say, they're all affordable. You know, there's nothing outrageously expensive. Yeah.
Otherwise, I couldn't afford it either. So, but yeah, hopefully this has been a short enough video for you to get a flavour. A lot of people have asked in the comments over the last year or so, can I do a proper walk round of my aircraft? So what I will do in the future is when my Adam wing, which is there, and the trike are all back at my airfield, I will do a proper in-depth walk around. If there's any specifics of that you'd like to see, drop a comment and I will add that in specifically and give you a shout out as well. So
don't forget the Monster Factory R as well. You haven't featured that. There's a few in here that you can have a film. I think
I might have to do a bit of outro and we'll go and do some B-roll of the Monster, the Factory R on the Adam, because that I've seen it upstairs in green. Very nice, very nice. So Ben, thank you for running through those. It's a fantastic machine, and as I said, it's lethal coming back here because I walk out with more toys than I came in with. So, but anyway, let's go and have a look at that Factory R and a birthday cake, I think, for you, isn't it?
Yeah. And freedom for the Ukraine.
All right. So until next time, everybody, fly safe and stay tuned for the outro B-roll of the Factory R. You know everything you've been saying is being recorded because you've still got the microphone on.
Oh!